I saw your Frankenstein at the National Theatre a
Yeah.
couple of years ago, and obviously that was extraordinary. And
Thank
I wondered, did that physicality help at all with Smaug? Because
it did actually, I guess, because I knew the sort of extremes of that and what would but again, it did feel a little bit like learning it all over again, because obviously I was trying to replicate sort of reptilian movements in a biped mammal's form. So I hit limitations, which obviously with the creature in Frankenstein are manifest only by the fact that I'm a human playing a human, and it's within our scope to have those limitations. But yeah, definitely the idea of an extreme physical interpretation of the role was something I really wanted to do from that experience. I've always been interested in grounding the body or any kind of characterization within everything from the neck down. I'm not interested in just being a sort of a cerebral character alone, and even the ones that are more cerebral, like Sherlock, have very specific physical dynamics. So, yeah.
The character is very evident from the voice, even though it's a huge CGI dragon. I mean,
yeah, oh, that's great. Thank you.
Yeah, no, it really is. What was your kind of conception of his character? Because he is sort of paranoid and.
Yeah, well, he becomes paranoid. I think he's an extraordinarily powerful predator who's toying with his prey in order to, well, A, to have some amusement, B, to find out more information. But, the fact is he could destroy him at any given moment. It's just how much he wants to sort of eke out this dynamic, and it gets the better of him. He becomes cocky, and Bilbo's charisma and wit sort of wins over at one point, and that's what really triggers him into this kind of fireball of rage that he then kind of becomes. And I think it's all in the book. And Philippa and Fran and Peter and I just, they as writers extrapolated that. But it's not much stretch from the scene in the book. It's a very dynamic meeting. And rather like Sméagol, Gollum, it's something that's drawn out of a dramatic dynamic. It's not just an immovable obstacle or a scary monster. It's something that has real flesh and kind of sinew, but also psychological depth to it. Because whereas I think with Gollum, he's like a neurotic uncle or some really delusional, paranoid schizophrenic who doesn't quite know who he is anymore. There's something really sympathetic about that character. Smaug he should be terrifying in his prowess. I mean, he's the sleeping A-bomb. He's this thing of incredible power, but his venality, his greed, his vanity, all the kind of human anthropomorphic qualities of him, the very negative ones, are things that I think are much less empathizable with. He's a monster of ego, and I think while he maybe came about as a metaphor for man's power to destroy man in the war scenario that Tolkien was inspired by in writing in, I think now we can see that kind of one-track greed and selfishness as being a model for capitalism gone wrong and the sort of financial disasters we've been through in recent years. So, yeah, know your limitations. I guess that's the motto. That's what. Yeah, I think so.